With the 2026 NFL Draft now just a little under 2 weeks away, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite position classes in this draft, and that's going to be safety. And everyone's out here talking about Dylan Thieneman is the biggest riser in the class, I get it. He ran a 4.35 40. He's a Big Ten player, balled out of Oregon, and he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to clown on him. But while this hype train for Thieneman keeps rising, there's a guy secretly behind him that's going to be the steal. And that's going to be Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. And I would argue that McNeil-Warren's tape is just as good, if not better, in some areas than Dylan Thieneman's. So if these NFL teams and franchises let the hype machine push them towards drafting Dylan Thieneman over McNeil-Warren, they're going to feel that. So if you're not familiar with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo, here's a little breakdown. McNeil-Warren stands at 6'3", 201 pounds. He's a former 3-star out of Lakewood, Florida, who could have transferred last year for big NIL money, but stayed loyal to the program that believed in him since day one. First in his family to go to college, his dad became his biggest mentor and role model. Past coaches call him one of the most coachable players they've ever been around. And by now, you should know the Toledo pipeline. Quinyon Mitchell, first round pick, stud in the league. McNeil-Warren is the next one on the assembly line, and the numbers are impossible to ignore. Let's run through what this man did at Toledo. In 4 seasons, he earned 214 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 13 passes deflected, 5 interceptions, and 9 forced fumbles. Yes, 9. That's a guy who plays with violence and hunts the football on every snap. In the 2025 season alone, he got 77 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions, including one of them being a 37-yard pick six. He also got 6 pass breakups. He earned first-team All-MAC. He was a Jim Thorpe Award semifinalist, and was a Group of 6 Defensive Player of the Year. But here's the number that should end the debate. Amongst every FBS safety with at least 200 coverage snaps in 2025, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren was the number 1 grade player in coverage. Yes, number 1. He earned a 92 PFF grade for his coverage. He was targeted only 15 times the entire season, and in those targets, he only gave up 6 catches. Quarterbacks were running away from this man, and they didn't want to throw the ball anywhere near him. Now, let's talk about the other safeties in this class, and where they're ranked, because we all know Caleb Downs is number 1. He's a generational player. I'm not saying that Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is better than him in any part, but when we were talking about the second best safety in this class, I think he has an argument to go over Dylan Thieneman. Thieneman is a good prospect. He was a 3-year starter, over 300 career tackles, 8 career interceptions, and his combine was genuinely crazy. He got a 4.35 40, 41-inch vertical, and that combine is the biggest reason why the hype train is rolling. I understand all this, but here's what people are glossing over. Thieneman has had 0 forced fumbles in his last 2 seasons combined. That's 0. McNeil-Warren had 9 in his career. When you talk about impact plays and changing a game, that gap is enormous. When you're looking for a safety, you're looking for that turnover ratio, and that's what Warren has over Thieneman. McNeil-Warren's coverage grade in 2025, 92 on PFF, number 1 amongst every single FBS safety. Thieneman had a solid grade, he's a solid player in coverage too, but scouts flagged that he can struggle with lateral movement and man coverage against more complex routes. Meanwhile, McNeil-Warren stands at 6'3" and has the arm length and closing ability to match up with literally anyone on the field. And that's the other thing. Thieneman is 6 foot. McNeil-Warren, 6'3". In today's NFL, where tight ends are monsters and offenses are getting bigger, that 3-inch size advantage matters a lot more than you might think when you're looking at safeties. And yes, if you want to talk about the combine, McNeil-Warren ran a 4.52. Compared to Thieneman, he ran a 4.35. That's real speed difference. But go watch the tape. McNeil-Warren has the closing speed that doesn't show up on the stopwatch. He takes the right angles, anticipates routes, and gets there. A 4.52 guy who always is in the right place beats a 4.3 guy who's guessing. And even with that slow speed, McNeil-Warren's frame backs up for it. He's able to get with guys in coverage. He's able to coverage great. And, when you're looking at the speed, a 6'3 guy is obviously going to move slower than a 6-foot guy. So now, you might ask, oh, why is this guy falling? Oh, if he's so good, then why is he only ranked like 25 on some big boards? What if I told you the reason he's getting overlooked is because of the name on his jersey? What if I told you that just because he's at Toledo, he's not getting the hype as other prospects? The scouts see a MAC school, and they start second guessing themselves even when the tape is screaming at them. He played good schools, including Kentucky, Mississippi State, Washington State, and showed up every single time. He was the second Toledo player in 18 years to make the AP All-American team. The only other player to do that? Oh yeah, Quinyon Mitchell, who's now one of the best coverage corners in the NFL. Some teams have him as a late first rounder, while others have him as a second round pick. That gap exists entirely because what's on his jersey. If this dude was playing at Alabama and teams seen this tape, he would be a solidified top 15 pick, no doubt. So here's where I end it. Thieneman is going to get drafted first, no doubt in my mind. Maybe significantly higher than McNeil-Warren. But when Warren goes in the late first or second round and turns into a Pro Bowl safety, people are going to look back at this draft and ask why the gap was so big. Whatever team gets Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is walking away with a steal. And whatever team needed a safety and let the Thieneman hype blind them, they're going to feel it for the next 10 years. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment if you think this is the worst take you've ever heard or an amazing take. And let me know down below if you have McNeil-Warren over Thieneman on your big boards. So I'll see you guys in the next video.